everyone, and welcome to the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world show made for the fans by a fan. I am your host, as always, Richard Tiemann, and this is the award-winning Fan Show. Good to see you. Happy to be here. It is Tuesday, which means it is the start of a whole new week here on the Fan Show. And with that comes our recap. So we have quite a lot to catch up on. Had a short week last week because of the holiday. It was one of the rare times that I actually get a full week off of school, since they do kind of an expedited degree program. Your breaks are far and few between, and they're only a week long. And since there was no indoor football league action, the Wolfpack had their home regular season finale, and it was a holiday weekend. I decided to just take the week and do nothing. Absolutely nothing. I went fishing and drank a lot, so I will say that it wasn't completely nothing, but I just needed a little break before the big grand finale that is the Indoor Football League season coming up this weekend, which we'll talk all about. But yes, welcome everyone to the Fan Show. Everyone's a fan of something. We have something for every fan, especially if you're a fan of the Indoor Football League. This week is dedicated to all of the United Bowl upcoming action, which I think is going to be a great game, and we'll break that down. I have a special guest for you this evening, which some of you saw the post last night as to who that is. And yeah, we're going to get rolling. We're going to keep things going. Tomorrow, of course, there will be another BattleBots special. Just recorded that interview. That's a great conversation. You won't want to miss it if you're a BattleBots and sports fan. And then Thursday is the big one, the big preview episode for the United Bowl for the weekend. And then I will fly out to Phoenix Friday morning. There's Media Day, which we'll talk about. And then Saturday's the day, the United Bowl. And of course, there's still National Arena League football happening. We're coming very close to the end of that regular season. And then, of course, their postseason, which we'll talk a little bit about. And then the AFL, Arena Football League, getting very close to wrapping up as well. Have a few updates for you on that one. So before we get too far into things, today's question of the day, and we'll talk about a lot of it in headlines, but I think you guys will know what I mean when I bring up this question. Which are you most excited for coming up? Because obviously one of these will start in one year and end in the next, and so will the other. But which are you most excited about coming up within the next 365 days? Is it the NFL, the XFL, or the NBA? That's right, I never watch basketball except for the postseason and the finals. You can call me a bandwagon if you want for that. But there has been a lot going on in the NBA. Free agency, I don't even know if you'd call it a frenzy at this point. It's just all-out madness. So which are you looking most forward to? XFL, NFL, or NBA in the next 365 days, because that is when all will have happened. The XFL, will it still be going by this time next year? I'm trying to think of what their scheduled season looked like. I had it here in front of me. Anyway, I thank all of you for joining me. Adam, Nigel, nice to see you guys. Yes, fish and beer. You guys are welcome to join in on the chat. We are live on Facebook Live as well as Spreaker.com. So without further ado or any more delay, let's dive right in and get this episode rolling with today's headlines. And headlines, of course, brought to you by Dynamite Enterprises. You can get your world customized through Ethan and the good folks at Dynamite Enterprises. They will make you great things. There is no more rum here. The rum is gone. Why is the rum always gone? Well, because you drink the rum. But anyway, on topic. We're staying on topic here. They make stickers like what you see here. We got the Fan Show. We got the Infinity Gauntlet right here. And we are looking to see which one of these divisions will get its self on a t-shirt next. Will it be the popular outdoors division, right? Will it be another batch of the flagship sports division? Or will it be possibly music, pop culture, another batch of robotics? Anyway, they do stickers, they do t-shirts, they do hats, they do beanies, they do business cards. They could probably even do a helmet like this, but this is the great craftsmanship of Adam. So if you'd like a mini helmet, I'd say reach out to him. But for everything else that you need, it's Dynamite Enterprises. So go to them. Visit their website, dynamiteenterprises.com. See what they've done, and if there's anything there that you'd like. They just got done making a just crap load of plaques for different awards, which the Fan Show just had its annual awards. And they can do plaques, they can do trophies, they can do all these different things. So visit their website, see what they've done, and if there's anything that you would like to have possibly done that you don't see there, don't be afraid to ask. Don't hesitate. Reach out to Ethan at dynamiteenterprises.com, and say, hey, can you do this? And they will certainly try. And if it's not to your liking, they will make sure that they make it right, because that's what they do. They're professionals, and they have great business mindsets. So Dynamite Enterprises, customize your world. And it's been a lot happening in the world. So first and foremost, we've got the United Bowl happening this weekend. Media Day was officially announced for Friday at 4 o'clock, 4 to 5 p.m. I will be there for Media Day. I'm flying into Phoenix Friday morning. And then Saturday's the day. Kickoff. Kickoff is at 6 p.m. local time. I say local time because right now Phoenix and the rest of the West Coast are in the same time zone for that half the year that they share the same time zone, because they don't participate in the time change like the rest of the country does. But hey, that's neither here nor there. But that means it's 8 o'clock Central Time for those of you in the Midwest, like the fans from Sioux Falls, who will be playing against the Arizona Rattlers at the Gila Casino, or the Gila River Casino Arena, I believe is what the proper term is for it. And let's see, we've got NAL news, AFL news, XFL news. There was an auction for all of the stuff, the pads, the jerseys, the equipment from the AAF. You might remember that league, the Alliance of American Football. And the XFL missed out. It was a former AFL commissioner that bought up all the equipment. So that has caused a little bit of rumblings as far as why, and we're waiting to hear more. Speaking of rumors and what the latest is, as far as the shock goes, the only things that I've heard lately is that the ownership is supposed to be announced this weekend. Like, I don't know, on a special occasion such as the United Bowl. Haven't heard any more about Oakland, and it was contingent, at least to my knowledge and per my sources, that it was only going to happen if Oakland happened, and yet I haven't even heard that Oakland's ownership is going to be announced. Although, here's the little caveat asterisk on that one, the ownership is the same as for San Diego and Cedar Rapids. So maybe it doesn't need to be announced who the ownership is. Maybe it just needs to be announced that it's actually going to happen, which they could also do at Media Day or the United Bowl, and then in turn announce Spokane is actually going to happen and their ownership. So it's going to be a big weekend for the world of indoor football and arena football. And I think that's what most of us collectively hold our breath for, is the big announcements for what's going to happen next year. It's like we're just about to conclude a season officially and crown a champion, but yet we're already looking at like, well, what's going to happen next year? And let's see, we've got quite a few comments. Hey, Matt, good to see you. Let's see, Nigel says The Lion King was his favorite part of the weekend. Adam answered the question. He's more excited for the XFL. It's another interesting attempt to bring back spring football. I agree. Nigel is looking forward to the NBA. And then, let's see. Nigel also says, read an article saying that the former commissioner, the equipment has potential buyers that might want the startup teams. Okay, so he is purchasing it with hopes of reselling it. We've seen that before. Let's see. In other news, pop culture news, to be more specific, I went and saw Spider-Man Far From Home. I thought it was a well-done movie. I was curious to see how they were going to continue on with these movies beyond Endgame, and it looks like they have a plan in place. So still classic Marvel going ahead. That unstoppable force just keeps on trucking. I kind of felt like maybe I needed a little bit of break from Marvel movies after Endgame, you know, a chance to recoup, recover, some condolences and things like that. But a mourning period. There we go. Lion King comes out this month. I haven't seen Toy Story 4 yet. I haven't even heard from people who have seen it. And then let's see, there's a new episode of BattleBots. This last one was great. We've got a new BattleBot special tomorrow night. 4th of July, didn't really do anything. I did stuff the weekend, though. Went to Newman Lake, went fishing, and drank a lot. It was a lot of fun to just sort of kick back and relax. Played some games and had a good time with family and friends. So that was my 4th of July weekend. Last week, though, there was the sad news of the passing, unexpected, I believe, of the man known as Hefty Lefty, Jared Lorenzen. I hope I'm saying that right, but he obviously most known for his time in the arena and indoor circuit, but he also did have a stint with the New York Giants. So very sad to hear that he passed away at the ripe age of 38. And then let's see here. What else do we have? So NBA free agency has been crazy. Some people are saying that there's no more super teams, and some people are saying that that's all there is right now is super teams. And I saw something earlier today. Did it say that Kawhi still hasn't officially signed with a team yet? That Toronto could offer him the max deal, which is 5 years for $190 million? Okay. But on the plus side, analysts and experts are saying that this is making a better basketball league, a better NBA, a better tomorrow for the NBA, because the more that players control their own destiny as far as contracts and money go, the less power the league has to shift players around where it kind of wants them to end up. I will give benefit of the doubt to that remark. Absolutely. If it makes for a better league, a more competitive league where you have, 8 teams that you don't know who's going to come out on top? Because there's always 8 teams in discussion, but then once the season starts, you're like, okay, it's going to be Cavs Warriors again. That was the talk for a good, 3-4 year stretch there. But now, if you have legitimately 8 good teams and you don't know who could come out on top or who could be your championship 2 by midseason, I think that's progress. That would, in my mind, that would get me interested in the NBA again, because I hate that, like baseball, NBA is the kind of sport where once one team is good, they're good for a long time. And you have to wait until they're not good anymore for another team to step up and maybe be good. Maybe it's a one-and-done thing. Maybe it's a new dynasty. But there's a lot of dynasties in baseball and basketball, not as much in football except for the New England Patriots, but that's only a recent thing, really. They did have dynasties back in the 70s and 80s, but now not so much. So basketball, your move. We'll see how that goes. We do have a special guest tonight. For those of you that don't know, I'm going to tell you right now, it is Coach Kevin Guy of the Arizona Rattlers, the not head coach of the year, which has caused some upsetness, some rumblings, some people to voice their opinions. But it is what it is. There's 4 publications out there that I've seen that all did a Coach of the Year, including the IFL, and not one of them named Coach Guy. There was an article that came out that said that he got snubbed, and there were some very good points made in there. And when him and I talked, we didn't talk about that specifically. We just talked about, looking back on his year, his undefeated season and everything. So I feel like there's some good points. There's some good juicy content in there, and you guys will enjoy that in a little bit. But let's go ahead and make sure that we've successfully wrapped up our weekend. As far as the AFL news goes, we talked with Nick Hague of the Atlantic City Blackjacks last week, and the Blackjacks were in control of their own destiny. They had gotten a much-needed win. They needed to pretty much win out, and they were in. But then this last week, they had a game against the Philadelphia Soul, and they lost by 5 points. Final score 50-45. Philadelphia Soul get their 4th straight win. So now Atlantic City needs to win out, but they also need the Washington Valor to pretty much lose out. I don't know who holds the tiebreaker, but as of right now in the standings, it is 4 teams of the 6 that will move on to the postseason, and number 5 and 6 are the Washington Valor at 5-5 and the Atlantic City Blackjacks at 4-7. Atlantic City has a bye week this week, but Washington does not. They will play at Baltimore, And so if Baltimore can upset them, obviously that gives Atlantic City a much better chance at making the postseason, even without being able to play. And then finally, week 13, it is Columbus at Washington, and then Baltimore at Atlantic City. So both teams hosting their final regular season games could come down to whoever wins is in. And that's exciting football as well. So best of luck to the Blackjacks and Nick Hague and, of course, the rest of the guys out there in the league that I know play for various teams. It's been a pretty solid season for the AFL. For the NAL, though, that was something. The Cobras dominated the Lions 70-28. And the Jacksonville Sharks got, win number 10 in a row? Yeah, over the Orlando Predators, 76-30, and the Pirates eked out a win on the road, 54-52, over the New York Streets. So that will bring us to the United Bowl, of course, which we're all getting ready for. And let's see, comments coming in here. We have... Let's see. Adam says, U.S. women's team won the World Cup over the weekend. They did. And I'm not going to pretend like I care about soccer once every 4 years or even once a year. I'm not a soccer fan, and I'm sorry that I'm not sorry. That is an amazing accomplishment. Congratulations to the U.S. women's team. But I don't understand the people that get just gaga for soccer once a year or once every 4 years. It drives me nuts. It's like Gonzaga fans when it's like nothing else is going on during the year. But the second that basketball season is underway, college basketball, and it starts getting closer to the postseason, everyone, they come out of the freaking woodwork like, go Zags! It's like, where have you been like the rest of the year? Like, what do you do in your free time? Like, is there a day job you have? It's just very confusing stuff. Let's see. The round mound of touchdown. No idea what Adam's talking about there. Nigel Stevens asks. He asks. It doesn't say. He asks, who do you pick for the United Bowl and what will be the score? You know that I don't do picks, Nigel. I try to be impartial and unbiased despite the fact that there are clearly some people out there that think I am anything but. It is what it is. I feel like even if I picked the Rattlers to win, I would still upset a Rattlers fan because maybe if I said what my final score was, it wasn't by enough for their liking. There's just been a lot of sensitivity going on over the last couple of weeks in the world of indoor football. But hey, I'm going to the heart of it. Friday, I will be in Phoenix for both Media Day and the United Bowl. So that should be fun. It will be. It'll be a good time. So sorry, Nigel, can't answer your question. I think it'll be a good game. And I think that because of a few things that I'll probably touch on more with Thursday. But look, Sioux Falls Storm, they were the team in the Indoor Football League, really in the world of arena and indoor football altogether. Like, they had a dynasty that would make Bill Belichick and the Patriots blush. I mean, we're talking about dominance in football that we haven't really seen at a professional level. And then the Rattlers came to the league. And we all thought maybe it would come down to Arizona and Spokane because Spokane went and they had their shot to knock the Storm off their perch the year before that. And they couldn't do it. And we all know the rivalry between Arizona and Spokane. But Spokane did not make the postseason. Arizona did. They went into Sioux Falls and they dethroned the reigning champions of a long time, mind you. Well, now, 2 years later, after one team has suffered its second consecutive loss in a championship and another team never even got back there to defend theirs, you have a rematch from 2 years ago where Sioux Falls is going into Arizona with a chance for payback. It's going to be a fight, one that I am very excited to see up close and in person. Adam says, in layman's terms, some butt hurt. Yes, very true. Let's see. Oh, he was talking about Jared Lorenzen. Thank you, Adam. Let's see. Matt says, I hope both teams have fun. And Adam says the end game is upon us. Yes, all very valid points. So NBA free agency, you guys have any comments about that? Most of you watching and listening would know better than I would what this means for the future of basketball as far as all of you avid basketball fans. I like the shakeup. I don't understand why Kawhi would leave right after he just brought a franchise its first ever title. And then KD leaving Golden State, it's confusing as all hell. But, if it means that we get a better, more competitive league, I'm all for it. So your guys' thoughts on that? I'm looking forward to the XFL, personally. Yes, as a Niners fan, I'm looking forward to the unknown. I'm the eternal optimist. You guys know that I'm a glutton for punishment when it comes to this'll work, and then it doesn't work. I hope that the XFL works. And let's see, on this day, that's right, on this day last year, I declared myself a free agent in the world of media and broadcasting. And here I sit, the exact same place as I was a year ago, doing the same thing. And I'm not mad about that. I'm just, you try to make your own opportunities when there's not opportunities presenting themselves. And you're reminded that a year ago you did that. And there was a lot of talk early on. There was a lot of discussion. In fact, there was a few trips I made where there were people that were, making grand statements, even some promises. And then one by one, they all fell through. And so it just gets frustrating. And a Facebook post I made earlier today had nothing to do with the fact that this is the 1 year anniversary of that video announcement. But it is ironic, very much, that video happened today on a day that, things are a little discouraging around here in the studio and in the world of Fan Show. But nonetheless, the goal, the vision remains the same, and that is to wind up somewhere where I can, utilize my talents and the knowledge that I've gained through Full Sail and with experience and on hand. So I'm hoping to get that phone call, email, or maybe even a text or a DM on Facebook that says, hey, we should really talk about you being part of our team, like literally. So we'll see what happens with that. But until then, as you can see, I still keep trucking along. The grind is very real. There's been a lot that's happened since then in the last year, a lot of improvements with the show. So it's not all for nothing. I think the Fan Show has grown exponentially, and it's like, hey, there's a lot of momentum getting built up. I actually got paid to do things that I love this year with CGS and AFE. So there's a lot of stuff happening. It's just not quite what I'm wanting. And if you had a peek inside the team and household at what's going on here, you would understand why you'd want something a little bit, I guess, more monumental to happen that meant a big change for you, your life, and your future. Let's see if there was anything else that I forgot to talk about. The shock rumor, really, I'm excited to see how this all plays out this weekend. If it's true that the ownership will be announced, which would basically mean that it's no longer a rumor at this point, that it is fact that they will be returning, I'd like to know who the new ownership is. I guess the coaches are meeting 2 weeks after the ownership announcement. Again, though, this is all just hearsay. But this hearsay comes from a few different sources, reliable ones that I've trusted with information in the past. So I'm very excited to see how this all plays out and to be down there in Phoenix for Media Day and for the United Bowl and get a chance to maybe meet these people would be a great opportunity for me as well. Let's see. Adam says, XFL can't be worse than the AAF. That's very true, unless they ended up terminating or ceasing operations a week before the AAF did, as far as in their respective season. Let's see here. Serena says, I'm excited to see SF and AZ play. Coming from an AZ fan, I'm sure SF will put up a good fight. I'm sure they will too. You have a story of two teams with two very mobile quarterbacks that are very much familiar with this game, and that is Drew Powell of Arizona and Lorenzo Brown Jr. of Sioux Falls. And you got to think there's probably a lot of pressure on Lorenzo right now. This will be his third straight United Bowl that he's gone into as the starting quarterback. He does not want to be one of few people that have gone into 3 straight United Bowls as the starting quarterback and lost all 3. So there's probably a lot of pressure on him. Drew Powell, though, he knows what it takes to win a championship, but it's not really on his shoulders. It's the defense. The Arizona's defense has been fantastic. Coach Kevin Guy and I talk about that in our interview coming up. I'm trying to see where we're at on time here. It looks like we are about at the buzzer to go ahead and kick this thing over to Spreaker.com. I'm broadcasting live, but of course we're doing the Facebook Live to start things off. Adam says, here's the deal. If the Shock Return in Sioux Falls has a game there, I will make the trip out there, reverse the fan show tour. Well, I'm flattered, Adam. I really appreciate that. I think it would be great to have you out at the Spokane Shock game. Hopefully I can be a part of that franchise in some way, shape, or form. Maybe even Fozzie can be the mascot. He's passed out over on the couch right there, by the way. But yes, big week right now as we get prepared for the United Bowl. Going to see if I can wrangle up Coach Curtis Riggs to have him on the show for Thursday's episode. But don't forget, we got a new BattleBot special tomorrow, a new episode of BattleBots this Friday on the Discovery Channel. And we've got a lot going on. It is July. Phoenix in July sounds awesome. Can't wait for this weekend. But no, Media Day should be good. Saturday, the game should be a lot of fun. Reached out to my guys at Undisputed Belts. Going to try to make it happen as far as getting a custom belt in time for the championship. They get busier and busier every year, and I wish I knew who the teams in the championship would be more than 2 weeks ahead of time because they get so backed up. But they understand, they respect it, and I love those guys at Undisputed Belts. They can do all of your custom championship belt needs, whether it's office pool, championship, or even a sibling rivalry. They have a belt for every occasion, so I would hit them up. UndisputedBelts.com. Shameless plug for those guys, but hey, they deserve it. They do fantastic work. They've been partners of the Fan Show ever since the beginning, and I wouldn't have it any other way. They do great work, and they have helped me establish sort of a trademark for myself, something that people don't know who I am unless I have the belt with me over the shoulder or around the waist. If it's like, Superman or Clark Kent with his glasses. It's like he puts those on, he's Clark Kent. But if he takes them off, he's Superman. It's a big difference. Don't underestimate secret identities, okay, folks? Let's see here. We got another question. Serena's like, who do you want to win the United Bowl? I'm not going to make a pick. I'm not picking, all right? I'm impartial. I'm unbiased, despite what people may think. Nigel says, go Lakers. You would. Nigel would say, go Lakers. Or does he mean the L.A. LeBrons, or does he mean the L.A. Lakers? There's a bit of a difference there, Nigel. But congratulations once again to all of our Fan Show award winners. It was a lot of fun to put those together, especially to this magnitude. I'm glad I'm using what I've learned in Photoshop, both from school and from Kaylee Shade of the Sioux Falls Storm. She's been a tremendous help. And I saw good news for Storm fans. Rich Rosti, the owner of the Sioux Falls Storm, is purchasing another stream, so Rich Rosti will be the voice on the call for that stream at the United Bowl. So fans get to pick and choose which stream they want to watch and listen to, and it will be broadcast live also on Fox Sports in Phoenix. So a lot of good things coming this weekend as far as for the IFL and for the United Bowl. I think the future is very bright for the league, especially regarding its expansion. 24 possible teams next year. That is insanity. But of course, there's a big but. But it's going to take this, or this. Right? What I heard was that the hang-up was on one thing. We'll see, though. But that's what the word is. Let's see. Nigel says, postseason top picks. Oh, that's right. Did he mean... Wait. Oh, I wasn't going to do top 10 plays for the postseason because there was only a couple of games. Sometimes it was hard enough to find 10 really good plays when all 10 teams were playing. And sometimes I had like an overload of plays. But when there was only a couple of games, it made it difficult to get really good plays mixed into the top 10. But I will be working on a top 10 plays from the season. So that should be a lot of fun. Let's see. Yeah, 24 possible teams, and Matt says he likes big butts, and Adam says he cannot lie. So on that note, we're going to go ahead and go with our interview with Coach Kevin Guy. Don't forget, you guys can subscribe iTunes, SoundCloud, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. We're broadcasting live through Spreaker.com, which is how you can tune in every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. And the first part of every episode comes to you live through Facebook, where you can interact and join in on the conversation during our headlines and opening segments. So without further ado, here is my conversation with Coach of the Arizona Rattlers, Kevin guy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, joining me now is the head coach of the Arizona Rattlers, a man who really needs no introduction, one of the most successful coaches in the arena or indoor football game. He is Coach Kevin Guy. How you doing, sir?
Doing great. How you doing?
Doing good. It's always an exciting time as we get closer to the actual big buildup of what has been otherwise a fantastic 2019 season, including for you yourself, undefeated season, and now you look to cap it off with a United Bowl win, and this would be another ring and trophy to add to your collection. I guess first and foremost, what makes this one different? Because I understand they're all different, but this one's got to be something a little bit more special in your mind as a coach.
I've been in sports since I was 5 years old, and there's not many opportunities that you get to go, undefeated from the beginning of the season to the end. And, this has just been a great group of guys. We've had a lot of great character on this football team, guys that's got work ethic and they're serious about, their career. And so, for me, I'm going to get up the next day and still be the Rattlers coach. A lot of these guys are going to move on with their career. So I'd like to see these guys have an opportunity to be able to capture this and advance their careers and also, make me very happy for my staff and our organization.
Yeah, and we'll get to see you guys in a rematch of what was 2016's IFL United Bowl between you guys and the Sioux Falls Storm. You and Curtis Riggs, there's some pretty good rivalry there because before Rattlers joined the IFL, it was kind of, Sioux Falls League, and it was whoever the next challenger was, and then you guys went and knocked them off the perch or dethroned them, so to speak. Have you guys talked at all this week as far as, getting ready for the big game and the showdown?
Anything about the game. From a hospitality standpoint, we've reached out to one another, just let them know, hey, if you need anything, let me know. I know what it's like to go on the road for these championship games, and logistics are a big part of it. And so, I hear at the Rattlers, we always want to be a first-class organization and make sure that anybody that walks through our doors is our customer. And we want to make sure they have everything they need to be successful. And, at the end of the day, we're battling on the field, but off the field, we're still partners. And, me and Curtis have a healthy relationship. A lot of times, when I was in Arena League, when you started beating people, all the time, there was always some envy, some jealousy, towards the organization. But me and Curtis is kept a healthy relationship through this rivalry that we've created, and I think that's good. I think it's good for both organizations. You got two historic organizations that's been really successful, and I think it's good for the league overall.
Spoken like a true coach, and there were certain things in there spoken like a true owner, which you are now, of the Tucson Sugar Skulls. Now, we saw a lot of you before the season kicked off doing media appearances, interviews, and whatnot, like you do, good marketing and campaigning for your new venture. But then once the season hit, you were back to being Coach Guy. But what was it like being an owner for the first time this year, and how did that sort of, I guess, back and forth, one way being a coach going into ownership, and how did ownership change your views as a coach?
Well, I've been in ownership before. I just haven't been the majority owner. I've owned a piece of the Rattlers in the past, and I've also owned a percentage of the Birmingham Bulls hockey team back home in my home state in Alabama. So, I've been in ownership before. I have other businesses that my wife and I own, and but this was my first time being a full-time owner, and I know what my brand is, I know what my culture looks like, and I wanted to make sure that got implemented down in Tucson, and so it happened because Tucson wanted it to happen, and I went and met with the mayor, I met with Rio Nuevo, and we just struck off a good relationship, and obviously they knew about my success in Arizona. So, it was a perfect partnership, and it was a great product that we could put in a great space in Tucson for entertainment. At that time of the year for Tucson. Tucson needed some entertainment in the spring, summer months, and I thought we were a great fit. So, we really appreciate our business partners in Tucson and our fan base, Skull Nation. I mean, they've just been absolutely terrific, and it was our first year. So we learned a lot. We know what's ahead of us. We got to build on it, and we'll continue to build the product and also build the business side, as well. But, for me, it really filled a void for me because when I would get home for the Rattlers, I'm a workaholic. So I have to stay busy. And, I was running out of things, to do. So this really, when I would come home from the Rattlers, I would spend a few hours at night either emailing or on phone calls or whatever I had to do, to make sure that the business was going to be successful. And I also had a lot of good people that I thought we did a good job of hiring good people down there that did a good job for us, as well. So, again, as soon as this game's over with the Rattlers, I'll take a little time off, and then I'm going to evaluate some things for both organizations, and then we'll put a plan in for both organizations to be successful for the next season.
Yeah, it looked like it was well received. The broadcast I saw on YouTube looks like there was a lot of fans that not only packed the stands, but really sort of, took in the full, experience of it. The face painting, just, getting merchandise, jerseys. So congratulations on a successful run there. Now, from a coach and a player standpoint, looked like it was a pretty successful inaugural season, obviously getting a playoff berth coming at the last game of the regular season. But now that you've been a majority owner of something to this magnitude, was it, how was it per your expectations as an owner?
Well, we got to the playoffs and we had a chance to compete for a championship, and that's what you're looking for. But, at the same time, I also felt like there was a couple of games that got away from the team that they could have won, probably 2 or 3 games that could have went either way. So, Marcus did a great job, Marcus Coleman. Was a first-year head coach. I'm sure if you sat him down and asked him a few questions, there was a lot of things that he learned his first year as a head coach. Because I can tell you, from my first year of being a head coach, there's just a lot of things that you learn the first year. When you're a coordinator, you think you got a grasp on it, and there's just some things that you're not going to learn until your first year. But I thought he did a great job of managing that. April was a rough month for the organization. And one thing I learned as an owner is you got to, have a little bit more tolerance than maybe I would as a head coach. And so, it's important that the people that work for an organization know that, the owners are there to help you and support you. And we're all paddling our boats in the right direction. And, we just stayed the course. We didn't get negative. And, everybody just kept working towards it. And I thought my wife, Kathy, did an outstanding job. Her first year. Now, this was her true first year being involved with the ownership and business side. And, she learned a lot. But at the same time, I thought she provided the leadership that the organization needed. And we're going to continue to grow. And so I'm excited about year 2 and see what those possibilities are.
Yeah, she was certainly a trooper about it. I saw some of the interviews she did at halftime and pre- and post-game for the Tucson home games. It looks like she certainly had a knack for it and caught on pretty quickly and enjoyed herself, which I think is an important thing. Now, for you mentioned your first year head coaching, which has been a long time, and they say you learn something new every day. Well, this season you went undefeated. You've got over 200 wins as a head coach. You're the winningest head coach ever in Rattlers history. So what have you learned from this season? Like, what was there to take away, the week leading up to the championship?
Well, the big thing for us is what I don't think our staff is really got the recognition for this year was not only did we turn over, 50-60% of our roster from last year's team. Since day one, since we started the game 1 of this season, we've turned over 40% of our roster to where we are today. So, we had personnel, we were on top of personnel the whole year. And I think if you're going to be successful in arena football, indoor football, whichever league it is, you better be dialed into to personnel. And, it's not, I think our staff does a great job of not only developing talent, but we do a great job of identifying the talent that fits our system and how we want to use players. And we're not big on bringing players in from other organizations. We like developing our own guys. Part of our philosophy is once the season starts, if we do get into injuries, we normally do look to see what vets are out there at that point. But during the offseason, we try to sign, as many rookies as possible and develop them and teach them our brand of indoor football. But, you just don't have time to develop them and when you have an injury in mid-season. So that's why you look for somebody that's had some reps. And at that point, we will bring somebody in. Just like this year, we had an injury with Verlon Reed and the timing worked out where Drew Powell was available and we were able to talk him into coming to Arizona. So, that was a fit. So, when you think, I guess what I learned was when you think you got the personnel down, we had a lot of things happen this year with the AAF taking players from us. We lost a lot of players to season-ending injuries. This year I've lost more players to season-ending injuries than I ever had in my whole career. And it wasn't just players, it was key players. And so, I thought our staff did a great job of handling and managing that situation and to still be undefeated with all that going on. I'm pretty proud of all the hard work that our staff put in this year at the Rattlers.
Yeah, as you should be. You mentioned some of your quarterbacks and, of course, the developing players. You had Jared Harrington, who was phenomenal in all aspects of the game, really, offensive and special teams. He was the the most improved player of the year per the league, and then defensive player of the year, Devontae Merriweather, who had an outstanding season. You've got one of the most fearsome front threes in the entire league, and you were able to have a perfect regular season now going into the championship on the arm and legs of three different quarterbacks. What was your message to the team throughout the season that really sort of you feel, stuck with them as you're going through this different adversity, the different quarterbacks and the different players going on to different opportunities?
Well, let's worry about the things that you have control over and stay the course and just focus on doing your job and don't worry about anything else. And, it's about their development and growing and trying to become, the best, version of player of themselves. And you mentioned Merriweather and Harrington. Both those guys are second-year players for the Rattlers. They were rookies last year. And you could tell a big difference from year one to year two of developing, as a football player in our system. So very happy for both of those guys that they had an opportunity to get some recognition. There's certainly a lot more guys on our roster that probably deserve it. But, at the same time, I get it. And so, right now the only goal that we really have was to win the championship. And, I tell the players at the beginning of the year, we got really two goals. Okay. And that's to compete for a championship. And the second one is to try to help them advance their career. And by doing that, taking advantages of the resources that the Arizona Rattlers have and our relationships. And we want to not only just focus on helping these guys try to advance their football careers, but at the same time, we are trying to help these guys get ready for life after football. Because once you become a professional football player, you are at the end of your career. It's just a matter of when. And so, we try to talk to these guys all the time about getting ready for life after football. This thing can end at any moment, and making sure that they're making good choices. And that's just part of our culture here at the Arizona Rattlers. But we also want our guys to play at the highest level that they can and help them get an opportunity.
So an undefeated season, overcoming a lot of adversity, some guys that have really developed and, taken some weight onto their shoulders and making sure that you guys get where you need to go week in and week out. But now it all culminates this weekend, Saturday, as you host Sioux Falls. And so you guys are going to bring a championship to Arizona at the Gila Arena, which is sort of a new change for you guys, one that happened recently because of renovations at Talking Stick. But all in all, how does it feel to bring this championship game to Phoenix?
Well, you always want to try to win one in front of your home fans. And Rattler Nation is the best, no doubt about it. They turn out every week. It's a hard place to come in and get a win. And, at the same time, if there's one thing that's escaped me in my era of being the head coach of the Arizona Rattlers is we've won multiple championships, but, we have not won the final game in Arizona. Now, we've been the number one seed a few times, and we played at a neutral site when we were in the Arena Football League, so that couldn't be helped. But there have been 2 games that we played in Arizona, and we didn't win them. And, we're taking a different approach this time. We're just kind of going to stay away from all the clutter and stay dialed in and not get caught up in the banquets and the media day and all the stuff that comes with that's surrounding the championship game. So, it's important. It's not going to be the end of the world if it doesn't happen. But, at the end of the day, we want to do it in front of our fans. And, that's something that means a lot to us.
Absolutely. Well, it is the culmination of the 2019 Indoor Football League season, the 2019 United Bowl featuring the Sioux Falls Storm, the Arizona Rattlers, and Coach Kevin Guy. And you guys are going to kick off at 6 p.m. Arizona time. It'll be on Fox Sports and, of course, streaming live on YouTube. So, Coach Guy, it's been an absolute pleasure, and I wish you the best of luck this weekend.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. You take care. Have a good night. And one more big thank you to Coach Kevin Guy of the Arizona Rattlers for taking the time to be on the show the week of the United Bowl, which again is this Saturday, July 13th. Kickoff is 6 p.m. Western time, which I say that not Pacific time because it includes both Arizona, which is where the game will be played, as well as the entire West Coast, which is in Pacific time. So 6 Pacific, 8 Central, 9 Eastern. For those of you all across the country looking to tune in, it will be available on local Fox Sports. I don't know if that's a national thing, but you can also stream not 1, but 2 YouTube live broadcasts. If you're a Rattlers fan, you can stream theirs. And if you're a Sioux Falls Storm fan, you can stream theirs with Rich Rosti, the Silver Fox, on the call. And if you're impartial, maybe flip a coin, see which one you would like to watch, and sit back, relax, and enjoy as we crown another Indoor Football League champion at the 2019 United Bowl. So I will be back Thursday with a live episode. Tomorrow is a pre-recorded BattleBots special that we're doing every Wednesday throughout the regular BattleBots season, season 4. And, of course, Thursday will be our big preview episode for the United Bowl. Friday, I'm in Phoenix. Saturday, Phoenix. Sunday, back home. And then maybe a little vacation. I know that I had kind of a mini one, but I might need like a break from the show and everything going on to make sure that I'm focused on my schoolwork and making all the right moves to ensure a bigger, better fan show coming back next year, and maybe even a bigger, better tour next season. So until then, ladies and gentlemen, make sure that you're giving us a follow and a like and some love on the different social media. Twitter and Facebook are both at Fan Show Official. Instagram is The Fan Show. Never miss a beat. Stay in the loop by following one of the 3 or all 3. We have a YouTube channel. You can find links to it on the various social media, including Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And if you can't listen live and if you can't join in on the conversation through the Facebook Live for the opening remarks of the show, the opening segments and headlines, then I encourage you to subscribe. And we come in 4 flavors, technically 5, because we broadcast you live from Spreaker.com every Tuesday, well, not so much Wednesday right now, and Thursday at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, but you can subscribe through Spreaker as well. And then, of course, your big 4, iTunes, SoundCloud, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. So remember, folks, it's not official unless it's Fan Show official, and we are officially out of here for Tuesday. Until next time, best of luck to you and yours. Go Niners, and of course, it's all fun and games until you butt fumble. Good night, folks.
Do you remember the time that Mark Sanchez ran into his own player's butt? That was funny sports.
Thank you for having me on the show, man. I love the Fan Show.